Okay, hi everybody, welcome to the mat work class. We're going to do everything today laying down on the mat. Okay, so I'm just going to adjust my camera. Perhaps I need to be there. That would be good. Okay guys, we're going to start. Okay, so just come on down to your mat and just lay down and find that nice position where we're looking for symmetry in the body. So think about lengthening from the top of the head down to the tailbone. So you've got this lovely long spine. Your arms are just on the floor beside you, and you're going to very lightly just press the arms into the floor. Not with any great force, but just a little bit of a connection there. And feel that your head is not tipping backwards. So if you are looking at the ceiling behind you, you just need to adjust your head position so you're looking at the ceiling in front of you. If you've got quite an extended neck and that's quite difficult for you to do, you could just gently place something under your head that's going to help you to put you in a better alignment. Okay, so from there we're going to take our attention to our breathing. So if you place your hands on your rib cage, okay, and as we breathe in, I want you to feel that your rib cage is expanding wide. So as I breathe in, I can feel my rib cage widen into my hands, and as I exhale, it just gently softens. Okay, so I breathe in and breathing out. So I want you guys just to do that. Just give yourself a few moments just to connect with the breath. Okay, I'm going to be talking because me doing that and talking doesn't quite work. But I want you guys to think about, as you're breathing in, you're breathing down low into the bottom part of the lungs where the gaseous exchange takes place. It means we're taking in a really meditative breath, and it's one that's going to put us into the parasympathetic nervous state, the one that calms us down, regulates the heart rate, allows the blood to flow around the body, nourishes the body. As you breathe in, try to breathe in through your nose, and then we breathe out through our mouth. Okay, bring your arms down by the side of your body, and we're going to think about our pelvis. So we're going to start to gently roll our pelvis one way and then the other. So I'm just going from north to south. If you think about rolling your pelvis from north to south, and I'm not digging my back into the floor, try not to squeeze your bottom. You just want that gentle movement of rocking and rolling the pelvis forwards and backwards. You'll feel that when you roll the pelvis towards you, you get this lovely scooping feeling through the lower tummy. I can feel that my transverse abdominis, my lowest layer of abdominals, is having to work. And it's not because I'm tensing, I can just feel it wanting to switch on. So at the moment, I'm moving between those two extremes, and then I'm going to stop in the middle, and that's what we call our neutral spine. So if you were to make a diamond shape with your hands, index fingers together, thumbs together, and then you put your index fingers on your pubic bone and your thumbs together, and think to yourself, could I lay a cup of coffee on that triangle without it spilling? And underneath my lower back, is there enough room just to get my fingertips, but not a whole hand? So if you can get a whole hand, it's too much, but we also don't want to dig the back into the floor. Okay, so that's what we call neutral spine. So now we are connected. If you think about the space between the ribs and the hips staying the same, if you were to put your thumbs on your bottom rib and your middle finger on your hip bone, you're going to feel that space there, and then you've got connection, and you want that space to stay the same as we go into our leg lifts. We're going to exhale, lift one leg up to the ceiling into tabletop, and inhale, place it down. Exhale, lift, and inhale down. Now we're thinking about this movement coming from our center. So we're going to be really aware that when we lift the leg up, that what we don't want to do is let the tailbone push into the floor. So bringing awareness to that little space underneath your lower back. You don't want it to get any bigger and you don't want it to get any smaller. You want it to stay the same. So therefore we're working stability. And even though this is a seemingly quite basic exercise, actually there's a lot going on. You're thinking about that space between the ribs and the hips staying the same. You're not letting your tummy push up. You're not letting your back move. So there's loads of things that we've got to think about here. We're thinking about our head and neck placement. So when it comes to Pilates, there's a load of things that we need to think about. But it does all start to come together. And when it does, it's a beautiful thing. And you feel so connected and in tune with your body. So now we're going to lift one leg up and hold it there. And before we lift the second leg, I want you to think about lifting it. Because just by thinking about it, it's going to get the right muscles firing in the right order. And you will know if you're able to lift that leg. So we think about it and then we lift it. Now, if when you lifted it, your belly pushed out or your back did something a bit weird and it feels like it's a strain to have two legs up like this, we might not be ready for that. And if that's the case, we might want to continue with the single leg, and that's absolutely fine. Otherwise, we've got two legs in the air, and this time we're going to tap the toe down, bring it back up. Tap the toe down, bring it back up. Same rules apply here. The connection stays the same. Only this time we have to work a little bit harder to not let the belly push up, to not let the back arch, okay? So you're going to make sure that your tummy is not doming. You're thinking about your transverse abdominis connecting and wrapping in around your center. So you're very, very supported. Sometimes when we talk about working the core, we overdo it and we feel like we've got to tense and grip in. And it's not that. We don't want to tense, but we want to feel. Imagine you had on a corset that's got some ribbons, and now those ribbons have been just gently tightened up. That's the feeling that you want to have. You're going to feel your hips working as well. So that's going to be happening right now. Let's see if now we can go into a straight leg and back. So this is the next level. Now, at any point that you need to regress this, if you feel like actually it's getting a bit much now, you could choose to place the feet back on the floor and go for the single leg lift, or you could carry on with the toe tap, and that's fine. Remember, with Pilates, we regress in order to progress, okay? So we never go further than what we're capable of. And if we learn how to get the basics right, then we can progress. So we can, it's really possible to go from being quite immobile and not being able to do much to actually becoming quite advanced if we do it the right way, okay? Whatever level you're at, it's always possible to progress and improve. Okay, let's do one more on each side, guys. Reach that leg long and go for that lovely extension. Really feel that hip opening. Gently place one foot down and then the other. Okay, you're going to lift your arms above your chest. And I want you just to have the palms facing towards each other. And you're going to very gently just reach them to the ceiling and then just draw them down. And that's it. We're going to reach them up to the ceiling and gently draw them down. So we're just getting that nice feeling of the shoulder blades just gliding around the rib cage and getting some mobility there. So you'll find that the scapula can get quite stuck to the rib cage, and it can be quite restrictive. So just doing little mobility exercises like this is really going to help us free up in the neck and shoulder area. Okay, so now draw them down and you've got that stability. They're now down. When I say down, I don't mean pull them into the mat. I mean just draw them away from your ears, okay? Let's go for like an open and a close. And again, that's coming from the shoulder girdle. So as I open and close, my elbows are a little bit soft. I'm getting that lovely expansion through my chest. My rib cage is soft. And I'm not letting my head tip back. Now turn your palms to face the floor. Take them down, and we're going to go for a shoulder bridge. And we're going to move our spine in sequence. So make sure the feet are in line with the knees and hips. We take a breath in. As we breathe out, we're going to draw the pubic bone towards the belly button. So we roll to the tip of the sacrum. Then we're going to continue to peel up. And when we get to the top, we're going to hold it there for a moment. And we're going to make sure that our pelvis is higher than our ribs. So we're not going to push up through the back. We're going to keep the ribs soft. We're going to squeeze our bottom. And the more you squeeze your bottom, the more opening through the hips that we get. And the hips, we know, get really tight. Your knees are pressing away from you, and you're going to make sure they don't flop out to the side. So imagine you're holding something, make the adductors work. So then to come down, we're going to scoop through the middle. So you're going to pull your waistline in, and we're going to keep that curve of the spine all the way to the very last, and the sacrum rolls out at the end. So we're moving that spine in sequence, segmental control. Let's have a breath pattern. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, roll, scoop the belly. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Squeeze your bottom. Push the knees away from the head. Flatten your tummy. Now, can you squeeze your bottom a little bit more without the knees flaring? Stabilize that shoulder girdle. Press those shoulders and arms into the floor. Take a breath in. Breathe out. Scoop the belly. And we're coming down in sequence with even pressure on both sides of the pelvis. And then we lengthen away the bottom. Let's go again. Inhale, prepare. The breath is going to make such a big difference. Breathe out, roll, squeeze your bottom. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Extend and press the knees away from the head. Use the arms as a platform of support. Can you squeeze your bottom a little bit more? Take a breath in. Exhale, scoop through the center. Roll it down in sequence. And let your tailbone lengthen at last. Lovely. Okay, bring your feet together and your knees together. Take your arms out wide. When you've got your arms out wide, just make sure they're not up here. Have them sort of just on the level of the shoulders, maybe slightly below. You're going to lightly press the legs together so your adductors in between your inner thighs are working. Your knees are going to go across to one side, and it's like you're going to have 2 feet in one sock. And as my knees go in one direction, my rib cage is going to draw down in the opposite direction. So let's just take a moment to hold that position and think about how that feels. We want to get this full-on stretch, moving in both directions. So very often what can happen here is we lift up and everything goes over like that. So as much as your knees are going one way, draw the ribs down in the opposite direction. So then we're going to come back to the center and go the other way. Over we go, keeping the feet together, anchoring that rib cage as if it's drawing down in that opposite direction, and gently coming back up. Let's add a breath pattern to that. So we're going to go inhale as we move out to the side, and then we're going to exhale as we come back into the center. Breathe in to go across to the side, and breathe out to come back into the center. Now here's what I want you guys to think about. I want you to think about your waistline connecting. So as my legs are coming back onto the center, I want to use my waistline to engage, and that's what's going to connect and draw the legs back in. Okay, so again, it's not about me tensing, but I'm imagining I've got a corset on And as I bring the legs back into the center, the ribbons to that corset are just being gently tightened. Okay, and then I've got the core controlling the movement, the spine is supported. Think about your bottom leg very gently pressing up towards the top leg in order to come back to the center. Okay, that's another really nice connection to get there. And then if you get all of that happening, you get this absolutely magnificent stretch in your spine, and it feels really good, and we're releasing lots of tension held in the body. Super duper, well done. Okay, come back into the center. Take the feet back to hip width, and I want you to bring your arms back down to the side of the body. Float them back up above your chest. Turn your palms to face the mat, and we're going to come up into flexion. So you're going to start with the head nod. Okay, now when I do the head nod, I'm not lifting my head up, I'm just pushing the back of the head away. And then I come up into flexion and I stay here. Now, I'm all about creating length. If I bunch up too much like this, I'm going to bulge the belly, which I don't want. I want flat abdominals. So it's important, though, that we're not here. If you're just doing this and it's just your head, that is going to be a lot of strain on your neck. You have to get your shoulder blades off. So my shoulder blades are lifted, but my tummy is flat. So my rib cage is anchored down. I'm not pushing my back, but I'm flattening here, and I'm stretching up this way. And I've got space in the body. So then we're going to go into what we call the Pilates 100s, where we beat the arms. Hold for a second. Just stay here, stop for a second. Try not to relax. I want you guys to stay in the workout. Try not to lay down. Now the movement is going to be quite big. It goes from the knees down to the floor. That's how big you want the arms to go. But try to move from underneath here rather than flap at the hands, okay? So we're going to beat the arms, we're going to draw the tummy in, and we're going to do 5 little breaths in and 5 little breaths out. Here we go. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm making sure that my tummy doesn't go bulgy. I'm making sure that my rib cage stays down, but my shoulder blades are off the floor. I'm not jamming my chin onto my chest, but I'm looking towards those legs. Keep flattening your tummy, and you should be feeling nice and warm now. Okay, this is a great warm-up exercise. And hold, and roll down. Ah, lovely. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of back extension now. So roll onto your tummy. Okay, and we're going to go for a nice spine extension. So hands and elbows on the floor. Your legs are behind you and they're energized. Imagine somebody's got their hands on your ankles and is kind of pulling away from you. You are then going to lift your tummy. So I don't mean like move the whole back, but just gently lift your tummy muscles off of the mat so they're pulling in towards your back. Your shoulder blades are drawing away from your ears, so there's no hunching here, they're drawing down. Imagine you're trying to hold something underneath your armpits, yeah, squashing 2 little cherry tomatoes. Your glutes are slightly engaged. We're not gripping for dear life, but they're kind of on. As you come up, it's like you're going to roll a marble forwards with your nose. And you're going to lift ever so slightly, come up. Shoulders away from the ears. And now we've got lots of space between the top of the head and the toes. As we come down, we're still going to pull the shoulders away from the ears. Let's add a breath to that. Let's breathe out to go up. Little inhale at the top and exhale to come down. So we want to stretch the spine, but we don't want to compress it. So as I'm lifting and lowering, I'm making sure that I don't push into the back. Yeah. If I just sort of go up and back like that, it's going to put a lot of pressure on my lower back. And I want to extend it. So it's sort of like, imagine you've got a bright light shining out of your breastbone and it's shining forwards as you're lifting. Still keep lifting in your tummy. Pull your tummy muscles in, away from the mat. Stretch your legs away from your head. And keep the feeling that you're pulling your elbows away from your ears as well. So even as I'm lowering, I'm pulling my elbows away from my ears. So I'm fully connected. Let's do one more. Keep those legs nice and strong. Reach, 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 reach. Come down. And then go back into a shell stretch. So sit your bottom back, let your forehead rest on the floor. Arms down by the side of the body. And even in this position, just gently lift your tummy muscles in so that we get more flexion and movement in the spine. Okay, perfect. Right, we're going to sit on our bottoms now. So you're going to sit on your bottoms and you're going to go right onto your sit bones, okay? You're going to have your spine nice and long and think about stretching from the base of the spine up to the top of the head so we are not slumping. We're very lifted. So we're nice and vertical through here. Hold on to the backs of your thighs and we're just going to roll onto the sacrum. So you're going to take a breath in, relax the shoulders, elbows out. And as you breathe out, you're going to scoop the belly and just roll onto the sacrum. And then inhale, come back up. Okay, so I'm not collapsing and I'm not leaning back. I'm just lifting up through here, creating a hollow, and it's sort of like this bit of my body is going over that way. So I'm stretching my spine from both ends. And if you get this right, you can really feel your core working. The shoulders are very relaxed. The elbows are wide. You're pulling your armpits down into your body. So we're really, really, really connected. Really feel like this band is tightening in as you lower. Really pull in your waistband. Now, if you feel there's a bit more, start to roll back further. So maybe now what we're going to do is take the arms off and we start to roll through the vertebrae. It's okay if the toes come off. You just have to make sure that you keep your heels on the floor. Now, if you get this right, it will feel really nice on the hips. Your hips will feel like they're opening and you're scooping in. If your hips feel like they're gripping, don't go as far because that means we're not quite getting the connection. But don't worry because we will get it if we just regress and just start to really think about what it is we're doing. So there shouldn't be any tensing. It's just a nice mobility. We're creating space in the lumbar, space in the hips, working through the transverse abdominis. We're thinking about the postural muscles, the shoulder girdle, relaxing those shoulders away from the ears. Okay, and add the breath. Awesome. Okay, on the next one, you might want to shuffle forward a bit, so we're going to roll all the way down and we're going to stay there. So we're going to roll down through the spine and lay down, arms on the floor. Okay, so back to that lovely position where we're not tipping back, we're looking slightly forwards, shoulder girders engaged. Okay, and we're here. So lift one leg to tabletop, okay? And you're going to have a 90-degree angle at the knee. The other leg stays in place and your pelvis stays nice and still. We're going to do a little circle with the hip. So you're going to do one circle and stop, okay? One circle and stop. Now the movement is really small because what we're doing, we're just moving the femur around in the hip and ball socket. And we don't want to be able to see the foot. If when I move that leg, I can see the foot, that means I've sort of opened the knee. So it's quite a small movement. If you notice the angle at my knee, doesn't actually change. I want you guys to keep going, okay? So we're just moving it around in that one direction. So then we're going to change direction, okay? And we have the breath. Good. Now, what's going on here is a couple of things. One, we're getting some movement of the femur in the hip and ball socket, moisturizing the joint. Two, we're stabilizing the pelvis. So we're really noticing that we don't want the pelvis to move and we don't want that other leg to go anywhere. It's going to stay really still. So it's all about stability. Let's try the other leg. So place that one down. We're thinking about the transverse abdominis being very connected, lift the leg. And we do a circle and a stop. Circle and stop. Add the breath. Notice what your ribs are doing. Are they hiking or are they softening? Close the gap between the ribs and the hips. Connection is so important. When you feel connected in your body and you feel like everything's just working together and it's all functioning really well, you just feel better physically, mentally. Keep the shoulder girdle engaged, keep that little feeling of sort of reaching the fingertips towards the ankles. Let's change the direction. Adding in that breath. Lovely. And relax. Okay, guys, well done. You might want to just take them out straight for a moment, just to give them a little bit of a release. And then you can either choose to sit up, or we can do the roll up, where we come up in sequence. Okay, right, I want you guys to sit with your legs out straight like this. If you are a little bit tight in the hips or the back, and sitting like this puts you in this position, and it's really quite awkward to sit like that, then bend your knees up a little bit. Or if you've got something that's maybe about that thick, and you sit on like a book or something, it's enough to give you quite a nice feeling. It just gives you a nice lift, okay? So if you feel like that would help to get rid of this tightness, and rather than bend the knees, books are quite good. And that's Anatomy of Movement, which is a very good book. Okay, so we're here. Right, so we're sitting nice and tall, either with the bent knees or sitting on something. You're going to take your arms out wide with your palms facing down. Now, I want to be able to see them in my peripheral vision. I don't want to have them back here. Shoulder blades are down, and I'm lengthening my spine, drawing in, and I'm going to turn to the side and rotate. Now, when I get to one side, both of my arms are going to reach in opposite directions. So the front arm is going to reach forwards as the back arm reaches back, and then I get that lovely stretch. Come back into the center, and then we go the other way. So we're going to turn, and then both arms reach into those opposite directions, and back into the center. Now, breathing is really important here, okay? If we want to nourish our spine, we have to breathe properly. So let's do an in-breath as we turn. And an exhale as we come back to the center. Breathing in and breathing out. So we're making sure that the arm doesn't dominate. Sometimes this can happen, and we end up just with the arms kind of doing that. Yeah, remember the arms don't move, it's just the spine. And you're trying to get that lovely stretch through your T-spine. Yeah, your upper mid-back. It can get really restricted, and when that part of your back is restricted, it can have a really big knock-on effect on all kinds of things. It can cause problems in the lower back, in the neck, in the pelvic floor. There's a whole host of things that can go wrong if we're not nice and mobile in that T-spine. Think about keeping both of your heels on the floor and both sides of your pelvis are on the floor. So notice that you don't want one side to lift up. Now, it doesn't matter if both knees are bending, but both legs have to do the same thing. If one leg bends up, that shows that the pelvis has probably dropped a little bit. And this is hard work. When you're doing this, you might be thinking, actually, I'm really exhausted now because the postural muscles are working, right? And they're going to work even harder now, so we're going to lift our arms up overhead. Relax the shoulders away from the ears, and we're going to go for a spine stretch forwards. I want you to imagine there's a big barrel here, so you can't flop onto your legs, you've got to go over it. So as we go over, we scoop the belly and we reach over past our toes. Then we're going to scoop and roll back up, arms coming front, lift them overhead. Remember not to go hunchy with the shoulders because that won't help. Shoulders down and inhale. Exhale, over we go. Scoop your belly in, keep your pelvis stacked. Lift your tummy away from your legs. Inhale and exhale to roll back up. Arms in front of you and the shoulders are down. Let's lift them again. Try and really flex through those ankles. Inhale, lift. Exhale, over. Can you lift your tummy up as you go over? Keep going, keep going. Create loads of space between your body and your legs. Inhale, exhale, roll back up against an imaginary brick wall. And lift the arms. We're going to do one more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, over we go. Big, 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 big stretch of the spine. Inhale, exhale, roll it back up and sit nice and tall. Lovely. That brings us to my favourite exercise, rolling like a ball. Let's do it in a more contemporary feel today. So you're going to have the legs sort of hip width. You're going to hold onto the bottoms of your shins. And you're going to create lots of space between your body and your legs. Relax the shoulders and keep looking between the legs, okay? Make sure there's nothing behind you. You're going to roll back and you're going to roll up. And by keeping the ball shape a little bit wider, it can be easier if you're starting out doing this, okay? Now, this is not about tipping your head back. Think about your lumbar spine, this bit here. That's the bit you're rolling onto. If you're not rounding that and you're trying to go onto a flat back, you will not be able to do it. So you've got to roll. You've got to become the ball, okay? Relax the shoulders. Scoop the belly, and there's no tension. Keep looking at your legs. Don't let your head tip back. Now, if you're finding this is a little bit of a struggle, and you're kind of coming down a bit plonk, that means that your back does actually need this, and we need to mobilize it, we need to move it. But don't worry, if you've got a bit of restriction there at the moment, the more Pilates you do, and the more you start to free up your spine, and ultimately work your core, which is going to help you move the spine better, the easier it's all going to become. Okay, let's do one more. Roll and lift. And this time we stay at the bottom. Hug the legs in and just let your head rest onto the floor for a moment. I just want you guys just to do some really nice, gentle circles in one direction. And what this is doing, it's just massaging your lower back. That should just feel really good. And then we change direction. Okay, lovely. So let's work our abdominals a little bit harder. No, I hear you cry, but your body will thank you for it, okay? So let's set up a single leg stretch. So I want you to come up into flexion and reach your fingertips towards your ankles. Scoop your belly in and relax the shoulders down so we're never hunching. Yeah, if your neck will hurt if you're doing this, you've got to go shoulders down, look at the knees, but don't try and push the chin forwards. Draw one leg into the chest and stretch the other leg out straight. Elbows are wide and pull the shoulder blades down. Scoop the belly in and really focus on that leg going long. Watch it doesn't flop down to the floor so you'll heal. Then we're going to switch. And again. And we breathe. So as one leg pulls in, the other leg reaches away. Now you could go for an option where you tap the toe on the floor. And if you're really struggling at this point, you could go back to this one. And that's absolutely fine. If you feel like it's a little bit too much for me right now, this is going to be an option that you can take, okay? But let's think about focus and control. And it's all about that technique. Yeah, it's easy just to go. But let's really think about how we're doing it, because we don't want the hips to take over. We want the core to work, this bit. Yeah, so shoulder blades are off. I'm not just like a head, I'm lifting, but I've got my rib cage down and I'm breathing. And it feels really nice to stretch those legs away. In 8, 7, 6, 5, really pull the lats down. 1 more, and then hold your hands by your ankles and relax. Lovely, okay. Place the feet down on the floor. We're going to go back to the shoulder bridge. Okay, so before we do it, let's think hips, knees, ankles, all in the same alignment, arms down by the side of the body. Lightly press the arms down without arching the back. Soften the ribs, make sure the head's not tipping back. Many things to think about, okay? Right, we're going to go for a shoulder bridge. So take a breath in. As we breathe out, we draw the pubic bone to the belly button, scoop, and we come up into that bridge. Now we're going to hold it here, soften the ribs, hips are lifted, squeeze bottom, don't let the knees flare out. You're going to very gently lift one heel off the floor, place it down. Lift the other heel off the floor, place it down. And we're going to keep going like that very slowly. So we lift up, then we place it down. Then we lift the other leg, heel even, and down. We're going to breathe. And what I'm doing here is I'm not letting my pelvis drop. So as the heel comes down, I don't want to go down with it. I've got to keep my pelvis in exactly that position. If at any point it feels too much and you feel that your back has dipped and you've lost it, just roll back down and take a moment to breathe. Press into your shoulder blades, guys. Your arms are nice and strong. You've got that platform of support. Hold it there. Keep both your heels on the floor. Take a breath in. Exhale, scoop the belly and roll it down in sequence. Let the tailbone roll away. Awesome. Okay, we're going to do that again. It's really important that we don't let the back collapse. You've got to use those glutes. You'll probably find one side feels stronger than the other. And if it does feel like it's too much to do that for you right now, just focus on doing the rolling up and rolling down of the bridges, because I am going to progress this on again. But you can always stay back at an easier option. Okay, so let's roll back up. Scoop the belly, rolling sequence, lift. Pelvis higher than ribs, stabilize shoulder girdle. We're going to go back to that single heel lift. Inhale down. Exhale, lift. Inhale down. Imagine if you had like a spirit level across your hips here, and it wouldn't move, it would stay the same. This is flattening. The space between the ribs and the hips stays the same. You're squeezing your bottom. You're pressing your arms into the floor. Now let's see if we can do both heels together, okay? Now the glutes are the biggest muscles in the body, but they're the laziest. And especially during like lockdown, we do a lot more sitting than we normally would. Well, I say that very broadly, you might not be, but I know a lot of people are, and then the glutes get quite lazy. Watch that when you're fatiguing that your knees don't start to go out to the side. So keep the knees tracking the hips. Use your adductors as if you're holding something between the legs. Draw the tummy in. Your bottom will be on fire right now. Keep pushing through those shoulders. Let's see if we can do 2 more. And then I've got a mega challenge for you. Can you hold the heels up? Stay there and breathe. Press into the shoulders, press into the arms. Flatten your tummy, squeeze your bottom a bit harder. Now place the heels down and roll. Woo! How lovely was that? Bring the knees in. Stretch out through the lumbar. Well done. That was really nice. Okay, super duper, guys. Okay, so we're going to lay onto our sides now. So make a straight line from fingertip to toe, okay? And you're going to have one hand in front of you to give you a bit of support. So a couple of things we're looking for here. The pelvis must be stacked. We don't want to have it rolling back. It's going to be completely on top, one hip bone going through the other. Your hand is in front of you. If you can't have your arm like that, you could have it here, but then you would need to have a pillow underneath your head, otherwise you'll be a bit there on the neck, okay? Stretch your legs out super long. From there, you're going to just banana the legs slightly forwards, okay? But don't curl the back. So keep the spine nice and long, lift the top leg, flex, dorsiflex the ankle, kick forwards, and then point to go back. Kick the leg forwards, point to go back. And it's really controlled, so you're thinking again about your body stabilizing, okay? So we don't want to swing the body around, we're keeping really still, so the core has to work. As that leg comes forward, the tummy's lifting so that we don't curl the bottom or the tailbone under. The shoulder is stacked. We're going to inhale forwards, exhale back, shh. Inhale forwards, exhale back, shh. Two more, shh. One more, shh. And now I want you to bring your legs together. So now we're in a straight line. Look down, make sure you can just about see them. They don't want to be back here. You need to have them sort of where you can see them. And now they're super long. You should have a little gap under here. If you reach your legs away, you can feel that little gap. I want you to lift both the legs into the air, okay? But without this bit collapsing, that bit staying lifted. Then externally rotate them like a ballerina, okay? So I didn't bend the knees, the legs are straight. And then I'm going to tap my heels together. But I'm drawing in my tummy, squeezing my bottom. And if you want a little bit more, you're going to lift the arm into the air. And you might lift your head a little bit as well. Okay, but you're going to keep your waistline lifted off the floor. Relax the shoulders into the body. Squeeze the bottom, stretch the legs away from you. And just tap those heels together, but really squeezing those inner thighs. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stay. And then we're going to change round to the other side. Well done. Okay, so make that nice straight line first of all. If you've got a mat, it's quite good because you can get yourself lined up along the back and then you know you're in a straight line. Once you're there, you banana the legs forward slightly, but the back stays nice and long. Lift the top leg, dorsiflex the ankle. Inhale to kick forwards, exhale to go back. So transverse abdominis, that lowest level of your abdominals, is working really hard here to keep you supported. When the leg goes back, you squeeze your bottom and you can feel your hip very much lengthen. You're stretching the leg. You're not letting your back arch, okay? You're keeping the pelvis stacked, the leg stays on that level, and you're getting, so what you're getting here, as the leg goes back and you squeeze the bottom, it stops you arching the back, and also you're getting your glutes working. You're also getting your hips stretching. So the core is working, the glutes working, and the hip stretching. Shoulder going to be stabilizing, and it's a whole movement system. Let's just do a couple more. And again, inhale, exhale. Okay, bring the legs together. Check you can just about see them. Lengthen them away from you so your underside lifts. Lift the legs into the air, externally rotate, but keep the legs close together and start to beat them together. Now, when you beat them together, don't sort of just flap at the feet. Think about the inner thighs squeezing. And both legs move, not just the top one, yeah? Both legs move together, lift the head, lift the arm if you're feeling a little bit more fancy, okay? Keep it going. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold and relax. Beautiful. Okay. Roll onto your tummy. Have your legs out straight behind you. Take your arms out in front. Now, even though your arms are reaching forward, you mustn't let your shoulders do this. You've got to pull your shoulders away from your ears. Your head is above your arms. It's not up here, but it's not collapsed. It's lifted. Shoulders away from ears. Draw your tummy in very, very much and energize the legs. Now, your pubic bone is touching the floor and your lower tummy muscles are lifting. You're going to very gently lift one arm and the opposite leg, but not very high. They just hover. And the rest of your body stays nice and still. Then you gently go down. Then we do the other side. Now, what's important here is that your body, your torso, is so strong that it doesn't move. So if you feel that your back is dipping, that's because you've gone and dipped and sort of arched the back to do it. So we've got to retrain the way we do things. It's very easy to go like that. You're going to think, right, belly in, pubic bone touching floor, lengthen, and just hover. And if it feels too much to do it, even if you just think about doing it, you're going to get more out of it. So if I just think about doing it and I try to lift, but I don't quite lift it, I can actually feel the right muscles firing in the right order. And that's what it's all about. It's about getting the muscles firing in the right order. Just be careful as well that we don't do the little cheat at the knee. Sometimes we do this and the knee bends, yeah? We actually want that leg to go long, so you're reaching the leg. You're very much drawing the femur back into the acetabulum. You're keeping that connection at the pelvis. But it's just a very low hover. So we're really working across those slings. You might find you'll probably find one side feels easier than the other. But what we're trying to do in Pilates is bring the body back into balance and create some symmetry. Let's just do one more on each side. And relax. Okay, guys, come back into a bit of a shallow stretch and just release into vertical pressure that builds up. And then that's just going to bring us into our swan dive prep. So come back down. Legs are going to be parallel, hands and elbows on the floor, okay? So elbows on the floor, hands on the floor, legs strong behind you, lift the tummy. You're going to lift your chest forwards and come up into an extension. Shoulders pull away from the ears, legs pull away, and then we lower. And as we lower, we're still pulling the elbows away. So this is pretty much what we did earlier, but I'm going to encourage you this time to go a bit further. Now, everyone's got their limits on this, okay? So don't force it, but it's not wrong to take your back into an extension. When you think you spend all day in flexion, your back is crying out to be extended. I want you guys to keep going with that, okay? So you're just going to lift it forward and you might go a little bit further and then you draw the elbows back and down as you lower. Again, we're going to lift the chest forward, the legs reach behind you as you come up and then you come down and you pull the elbows away from the ears. Let's do that again, reaching up, lift, 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 lift. And coming down. Okay, guys, I want you to do about another 6 or 7 of those. Keep going with it. Okay, and just really, you're really thinking about the stretch of the spine. That's what's going to be important here. You're stretching and you're lengthening it, you're not compressing. That's what's really, really important, that we don't compress, we just stretch. Okay, so just on our last few now. And then when you've done that last one, come back again into a shell stretch. Okay, lovely. Just come to your side. And we're going to go into like a mermaid. So let's go like a sort of wide position with the legs here. If that position doesn't work for you, you could sit on a chair or stand or go on your knees, okay, or cross legs. Put your hand with the back leg, put your hand by the knee, and just lift up and get a lovely big stretch through here. Really open the chest and lift and get that lovely stretch in the body. And I'm lightly using the other hand to sort of slightly press into the floor to give me a bit of connection. And then I'm going to go the other way and lift. And again, I'm going to reach over, open through the chest, lift, 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 lift. And then back over and stretch. Lovely, let's go the other way. So turn your legs around. Let's start with the hand, the back leg, and lift and get that big stretch through the side. Really feel that lovely opening. That is gorgeous, well done. And then change and lift. Brilliant, well done. And again, over we go, lifting up, reaching over, creating space in the body because that's what it's all about, getting lots of space. And back over we go and lifting up. And relax. Okay, come up to standing to finish. Okay, so place your feet underneath your hips, roll your shoulders up, round and down. Make sure you've got your feet underneath your hips and we're nice and engaged. This is all working for us. We're lifting our body. We're lifting the rib cage off of the hips and we're getting that lovely fluid movement, gliding the rib cage or the shoulder blades around the rib cage. Keep the knees a little bit soft. That doesn't mean we're bending them, but we're not going to let them lock out. We're going to soften them. Let's do a little roll down, lifting in through here. Take a breath in as we breathe out. We're going to go from the crown of the head all the way down to the floor. Inhale, and as you exhale, scoop the belly and roll up in sequence. Let your head come up last. Inhale at the top, exhale, lift, lengthen and rolling down. Inhale, exhale, scoop the belly up to roll up in sequence. Let your head be the last thing that comes up. And one more time, take a breath in, exhale, lift and over we go, all the way down. Inhale, exhale, scoop the belly and roll up. And when we get to the top, take a beautiful, nourishing breath in. Breathing out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And just stand, think about your center. Just feel how amazing that is to actually have space in the body. Space, lift, connection, and give yourselves a clap. Bravo, well done guys, you were awesome. I hope you enjoyed that and I'll see you on the next class. Well done, guys. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.